Hello and welcome, listeners, to another episode of Tactical Awareness. It is Season 3, Episode 16, the Oban. We are digging into the JSA right now, and Oban is kind of JSA classic. If the new Coke is Chenin Boutte, then Oban is the original tasty flavor. And I'm joined today by Owen and Dan for another episode of Zeros to Heroes, our N5 faction reviews, where we go through, make lists, talk about our favorite units, and then do a roundup of those we didn't catch at the end. So let's dive in, see how Owen and Dan are doing, and get this underway.
Because it's that time. It's time to do the Oban. Because this is weird. I guess. Hey everybody, welcome to another Zeros to Heroes. This is our series where we're going through the factions in Infinity N5. And we're going to do a weird one in a weird order this time because the JSA, the Japanese Secessionist Army, got two entirely new sectorials. One of which is kind of the old entire army. The other one's completely new. And then a smishmash of the two in its new vanilla form. So like normally we would go like oldest to newest. So we're sort of doing that by starting with Oban, even though technically it's a new faction. If you haven't watched this before, we each read an army list. We go through those army lists. We talk about the units we liked, why we included them, why we think they're iconic of the faction, and then we go through anything that we missed at the end. Hi, everybody. How you guys doing?
Hey.
What's the good word?
Whoa.
This is also another weird one because there's only be 3 episodes in this one because there's only 2 sectorials. This is kind of the newest army right now. They got pulled out of the non-aligned armies. So we're starting with Oban because
I thought I didn't know anything about combined army. This was like, huh?
This is a trip. This is almost like I'm gonna make a joke at the end of this about how this is like trying to divide US Ariadne into 3 armies. They had to make some new units, and some of the new units, I almost guarantee, I think Owen and I kind of talked about this before we got on, but this will be a surprise to Dan. There are a certain category of units in this list that we will always be talking about at the end because they're not going to get included in anybody's army, and I'm not gonna reveal which ones they are, but if Dan has anything in his list, I think Owen and I will die of shock.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah, let's see. If Dan doesn't, I did it too. I've actually played JSA since they launched. Since they were like their own faction. It was one of my favorite armies to paint, and they're actually one of my nicer painted armies. Like I've got a huge Oban army. Yeah, like I spent time on them. Like I don't spend a ton of time painting miniatures anymore, right? I just kind of like get them on the table. But like I really like the JSA miniatures when they got a new release, and so like I did like a really nice job painting most of them. And I've been trying to keep to that as I paint new ones. So I have a huge Oban like collection. I think I have every single miniature in here that's not their last wave. But that's okay for a bunch of reasons. So I'm going to go first with this one and talk about my list. So I've already posted it in the Discords along with the army code, which will be on the description for this podcast or video if you're listening to this on YouTube. And I took some classics here because this is the classic JSA list. It has all the named characters. My original draft of this list literally just took all of them because there's like a temptation to do that. But there's some guys who got glow ups in this list that I was like, I kind of need to make that happen. So starting off, I did use a name character. I took Shinobu. If you guys aren't aware of Shinobu, she's probably the most aggressive melee piece in the game. I can't like it isn't. Sorry,
it's a she.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shinobu Kitsune. Yeah, she's the fox, man.
Big fucking sword now.
Yeah, she's trailing a giant sword.
Fire, I assume now.
Yeah, no, she looks like a ninja version of Rey from Evangelion. The long white hair. I guess Rey has short hair, but she got like the fucking giant sword. She's kind of almost like a Kingdom Hearts character, except this one's not a key. And then her whole thing is she can get anywhere because she has infiltration Phys 19, which means when she infiltrates over the line, she passes on a 16 with the -3. So she can deploy in your opponent's half of the table as like your reserve piece if you want in hidden deployment on a 16. So you try it every time. Owen in the first like 3 games he played with this piece had no success. He rolled the 20% chance of failure every single time, which is incredibly disheartening because for 44 points, she's spendy. But when you can hidden deploy in the heart of your opponent's army where they're likely to put a tag or something like that, she will get to that thing. And her monofilament close combat weapon and her martial arts 5 means she usually just kills whatever she touches. She tends to be kind of one shot, right? But she has the skills to get her there with climbing plus, hidden deployment, dodge, courage, the super infiltration, mims -6, stealth, and surprise attack -3. So when she goes into melee, she's -6 with the surprise attack and the martial arts. She's a burst like 3, basically, like in melee with a mono.
5.
Yeah. And she's CC 28 unless she's fighting someone with like martial arts back. So she is horrifyingly dangerous. She has no defensive tech though, not even no innate cap. She's just sitting on a single wound, armor 1. If she takes a hit, she fucking dies. But she hits like an absolute ton of bricks. She's a lightsaber basically. Then I got motorized Jimbo. I do love Yojimbo. This is my other named character on a motorcycle. So he goes 8-6. He's another like martial arts 4. He's immune to crits, limited cover. He's got Mind Layer, which is neat, and he's plumb full of crazy koalas. I actually really like him as a defensive piece. He's dangerous enough in martial arts, and with smoke grenades and crazy koalas, he can just kind of litter your deployment zone with crazy koalas as like a distraction or a deterrent to the enemy advancing. And if something's melee-wise threatening your core of your army or threatening your tag, he's a wonderful sort of like limited defense piece to go over and like deal with that. You don't want to go near him because he will beat up most things in melee. He's only 20 points. Then I got 2 Yon-Yons because they gave Oban Yon-Yons, so they have drop troops now. Just the 6-point chain rifle smoke grenade ones. Why? Because they're fantastic at causing chaos, and this is an up-close, brutal army. So in my group 1, I like to have some chaos pieces. I got a Tokusetsu Issei, which is a doctor, with a Yao Zhao to try and put Shinobu back together if she ever goes down. But more importantly, to put together this guy, the Shikami, who has gotten the greatest glow-up of any unit, I think, in this faction, because he's super jump 8, which means he moves 16 inches a turn. He's got Eclipse grenades now, which are insane. An AP close combat weapon with DA, an assault pistol, and then a flash ++1 burst for 42 points. This guy's heavy infantry, BS 13, arm 3, BTS 3, 2 wound heavy infantry, 4 deployment +6, and he climb plus moves so fast and super jump. He does every movement skill, and he's a specialist operative with martial arts 3 and mim -6. He has an ARO gun that will kill any 2 wound heavy infantry in the game, right? He's super duper scary when it comes to melee, and he moves blindingly fast. I was tempted to take 2, but I think 1 is good in this list, just 'cause I've got Shinobu. If I didn't have Shinobu, it would just be a second one of these. And then
I thought Shikami was a named character. I only now realize it's more.
No, he comes in the new 2-player starter set too. So you're going to see Shikami all the time. He's in the JSA with two Keisatsus. So the Shikami is phenomenal. And I already have 2 painted. So I would be using 2 every game. And then I've got a Penguin, which is the Hacker Evo hacking device. So I can throw up whatever appropriate defenses I need for my army and also reload my Jimbo. And a Robio Iobot, which is my 7-point flashbolt, but also extending the range of my my hacking devices for later on. My second group has an Oyuroi Lieutenant because I love this guy. This tag it was vastly underrated in the last edition. He got a bunch of glow ups. His AP heavy machine gun became a multi-heavy machine gun, so he does have that explosive ARO round. But he's kept all of his other stuff. He's a Mind Layer with crazy koalas. So again, I'm putting down 2 crazy koalas at the start of the game. He's got tactical awareness, martial arts 2, and most importantly, stealth. He can walk through your hacker net as long as he doesn't do anything. And then he's got an explosive close combat weapon. And with martial arts 2 and CC 23, he is no joke with a PS3 explosive close combat weapon. You do not want to fight this guy in melee. He might just kill you.
Is there better than PS3 in the game?
Is there better than PS3? I can't think of one.
As of now, no. They removed it off of I believe it was the Lobo had the strongest weapon in the game. No, not the Lobo. The Diablos.
Yeah.
Literally yesterday, it had been PS2. Until then, now it's not.
With that giant trench hammer, that's right.
And kind of the trench hammer. Only if he used it in melee, not if he threw it.
Yeah. But
It was
this
weird.
Leroy, he's very dangerous, and so I love him. He's my lieutenant. Then I've got a little Harris with a Keisatsu hacker because he's got his crazy quals again. ECM hacker -6. This Pangling is going to be reloading so many crazy quals in this list. Then I got my Keisatsu BS Tech -3 Thunderbolt because why wouldn't you? And a Kempe chain of command with a combi rifle for if the Oyura goes down. Then finally a Kohei engineer with a deactivator, gizmo kit, and deployable cover because who doesn't love deployable cover? For your BS attack -3 Thunderbolt and a Yao Zhao to go fix the robot. And that's my 300 points and 3 SWC of Oban.
But what deployable cover are you using?
It doesn't matter, like whichever one I feel like.
But isn't it going to be easy for him to be in cover anyways?
It could be. Could be inconvenient, could be convenient. It's I don't know. I just like the idea of my -6 dude being able to be fucking armor 7. Because why not?
I think that's what you do.
Yeah, probably.
Only -3, but then the armor 7. But then I don't know. Maybe.
Armor 7 Keisatsu for 12 points is a lot. That's not nothing.
I'm telling you, Dan. Armor 12 with Max. It's real good.
Armor 13 Oyuroi.
There you go. Well, no, it caps at 12.
Oh, it caps at 12. Right. So armor 12 Oyuroi, if I'm wrong. Because he's only armor 7. He's one of the lower.
You don't get armor 16 Yodam. Yep. You're just not allowed. I tried. I looked into it.
But I could be armor 12. You could start the Oyuroi at armor 12 and you'd reload it off the Pangling, right? So, like, why not?
Yeah.
But if you're shooting with EP, do you stay at 12?
It would go from 7 down to 4 back to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why the Yodam liked it so much, because even with AP, he was armor 11.
All the time. Any thoughts about this list for Oban in general?
It feels like you don't have any orders on your turn.
I got plenty, right? Like, you've got, for the pieces
like Shinobu's not there, Yuan's not there. So in group 1, you have Yojimbo, Irregular, Shikami.
It's just part of the whole idea is that it's off table. Like, I don't want to go first with this army. I want to go second. And then let them advance into me and like with my, clear my koalas and all that stuff.
And you're brave as hell, Keisetsu, who just needs to hold the line and hope that he doesn't die. And then the Oyuroi die, and then everything falls apart.
That's it. And then, well, I mean, I'm gonna have I'll have enough stuff down. I'll have koalas and like a minor hacknet down. That hopefully the mission makes it I don't get alpha'd. I don't think you can probably alpha the lieutenant. He's pretty scary. And then
the Oyuroi. You can kill an Oyuroi. Oh my god, could you kill an Oyuroi?
I guess I'm on suppression and cover.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've been playing a lot of tag games recently, and like everybody dies now.
I'm sure. I'm just saying, like it's not nothing. But I don't mind starting with stuff off the table because everyone's going to wonder.
That's what Hawkwood's here to do. He's here to kill Oyuroi.
But my thing is that when people play against this army, they don't know what that stuff they can't see is, because when they can't, people get super sketchy about where they end their turn, and they don't tend to go ham when they can't see half the table. It's just a real.
This is why I do well against JSA, because of my ignorance. I'm like, nah.
That's right. You just push forward and hope everything works.
Just trust that all their secret stuff is kind of garbage, and chain rifles will solve your problem.
Yeah, like it usually will.
You better watch out. Shinobu's coming. Flamethrower.
Oh, dear. Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, that was scary. Anyway,
I didn't realize Shinobu was 44 points.
She's so expensive.
Shinobu has beat the crap out of me so many times and caught me off guard so many times. It's been so annoying.
It's because she has such wild offensive stats, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're on to Owen. We'll do Dan last.
All right. Well, I had to because I realized that my tag one wasn't the one I originally did, but I have one that is the first one where I also went Shinobu first because it's Shinobu, and of course you bring Shinobu. But then I got into, wait a second, where's my lieutenant? Oh yeah, the Domaru +1 command, because he's running with the new Daioke HMG, who is NCO, and another Domaru. That's my Harris. And then I have the Keisatsu brick of Keisatsu Thunderbolt times 4.
4 Thunderbolt Keisatsu's BS times 3. This profile is silly for 12 points.
And then they all link with and then the Kempe joins them, and it's a pure team. And so there's 6 cents, BS 12, and 2 dice on every shot.
And all of them are standing out waiting.
And they all just stand, and they're there just to hold the line. Because even if all 5 of them die, the Domaru still has, just in its little group, 5 orders.
I know. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, cool. That'll get some work done. And then we have an Oni Waban because Shinobu is going to fail her
because if
infiltration.
Shinobu fails, that's right. You send a backup Shinobu.
And then Group 2 has the Yojimbo motorcycle. I
Yep.
think he's also just a solid guy to have around.
Yeah.
A couple bots, reloaders, but mostly they're there for orders. And then I brought the Kohei engineer, but I gave him a turret for 2 points.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to just, if on my first turn, I'm going to try and do it with the assassins or at least one of them. And then Group 2 can either put turrets down or threaten with Yojimbo. And if they have nothing else to do, they'll just put turrets down.
And then your other one is equally hilarious as a skew.
This one isn't a skew. What are you talking about? The other one's a skew, though.
They're both skews.
No, that first one's not a skew.
Never mind. Go on. Sure.
It's like 48 points.
Going,
it's not even, it's nothing. It's just
it's 48 points. It's not a skew if it's
yeah, it's cheap. You brought 2 yuan-yuans. What a skew.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is a skew, though. It's 2 tags.
Yeah. And 4 arigatos.
And a Kuroshi rider.
Yeah.
Don't worry, though. I still had space for the Keisetsus in this one as well.
I like how Jimbo's just hanging up by himself.
He's also on foot. I couldn't afford his motorcycle. So we're going to make him walk. But basically, it's
lunch break.
Yeah.
It's just like a lightning fast list of it's Oyuroi Lieutenant with Oyuroi. The Arigatos are broken into shotguns and killer hackers, and then the Kuroshi Rider joins one of those duos. And then, if she wants to, or we do a Harris of Keisetsu's with the Oyuroi pilot.
Yep.
I probably don't put her with those bikes and just have 2, 2, and 1. And then I can have the Harris the other way.
Yep.
And then basically any order I give, everybody moves except for the tags.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yojimbo's there for when the first Keisetsu dies, I just push him back into Group 1.
Yeah.
And while he has nothing else to do, he'll just wander around putting koalas down until he runs out.
He typically doesn't need to do anything. He just puts down a koala, right? Because he's got like an irregular, and then he uses his impetuous to put down another one, and then he just goes back and reloads. Oh no, you don't have a reloader in this one, do you?
Nah,
you couldn't fit a reloader. Yeah, you should fit a reloader. That's what I would do. I would drop one of the Arigatos and fit a reloader in, because that way you can throw out fairy dust.
Look, man, I have 4 Arigatos and I'm going to use them.
I understand you do. What I'm saying is, to be good, lose one of that Arigato hackers.
Good what? One. I don't need fairy dust. I have stealth.
For when you are not acting, you need fairy dust.
No, I'll be dead by that.
Yeah, one of us will be dead.
One of us will be dead, and one of us will be covered in crazy qualms.
Look, I'm going to bet that he guesses the wrong Oyuroi and kills it. And then I have a wave of motorcycles to just drive through his side.
That's fair.
And anything that could stop the motorcycles isn't going to stop an Oyuroi.
All right. So far, neither Owen or I have used any of these troops, we noticed. So let's see Dan's list. Dan, post your list. Be the one to make the mistake.
It's above Owen's list.
He didn't.
Oh,
he didn't.
Did he not do it? He didn't. No. Yeah,
of course not.
Of course he didn't.
You can tell.
No one knows what these things do.
I started from the top, added things that they looked cool, and then went back and deleted half of it, and then added some more other things.
No, but that's the greatest indictment of them all, is that you looked at them and didn't think they looked cool.
Man,
these look like garbage. I don't want any of this.
I can't say I did that for Combined Army because there are too many profiles.
That's right. So what did you like? What did you take?
So everyone wants to bring Shinobu, but there's another martial arts level 5 on this list.
I almost took him. Like, I love him. I love Musashi. Owen's not as big a fan, but I love this guy.
It's 6'4" movement, right? So speed. Doesn't have the whatever, but immunity arm and AP explosive close combat weapon PS4. If he hits anything, it explodes.
And unless you have an EM close combat weapon or you crit, you can't kill him in melee. Because immunity arm.
That's true. But even ranged, unless you have a viral or BTS or really just viral weapon.
He won't go down in 1.
He won't go down in 1. So that gives him, he's got stealth. And so it's kind of like, I don't know. He looked cool. I mean, went in the list.
For 21 points, he hits like an absolute ton of bricks. And he's got a really just weird, cool kit. Like, he's kind of like Jimbo, right? Where he's like this kind of wanders around your deployment zone piece, except he's like just irregular. So he's not impetuous. He can have cover. He's martial arts 5. He has stealth. He has a flash pulse. Really, he can pocket sand people. It's just neat.
He needs that. That is his hope because he's whip 15, and like he ain't shooting.
No, he's BS 9. He's hilariously low BS.
I mean, he's got a chain rifle, right?
Yeah,
chain rifle
and an attack bow.
He moves towards you, shooting sand at your face.
That's it. Shooting sand, just fucking going pocket sand.
But also 19s. Like the dodge on 14s, Fizz 14 with a dodge plus 2 inch. And so like you can walk up to a corner and they're like, I dodge at -3, and you're like, I dodge on 14s, and if they fail to dodge, you go right in behind them, and then you get a free hit. Like, I don't know. He seems fun.
He's cool for the point cost for sure.
Yeah, and so I've never seen him on the board before. So
I think he's objectively better than Shinobu.
Half the cost.
Like half the cost. Okay, he has to walk. You're right, and he's not Mim 6. He's immunity arm. Is that better? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Like
can't die. He's got no winning but she doesn't. He literally can't die in one unless you have some kind of EM.
Yep.
Or you crit.
Or
Arigato. Arigato. Just because I originally had 3 of them, and then I was like, because they remind me of bounty hunters, motorized bounty hunters, and I'm like, oh yeah, them all. But then I was like, I don't know. And then I just brought a Kuroshi Rider as a lieutenant.
That's a wild choice. Back that up.
Look. We have the Kempe chain of command.
I get it.
Guys over there.
Okay.
And the Arigato and the Kuroshi Rider, he's gonna chill. He's gonna throw up some smoke grenades with a smoke grenade launcher, right? He's gonna chill. No one's gonna suspect that he's a lieutenant. So they're not gonna try to kill him. Fingers crossed. Okay? But if he doesn't die, we have the Kempe. Right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just interesting because like he is an interesting get stuff done piece because he's got 8-6 movement and he's a specialist because he's a forward observer. So like, and he's dogged, which kind of sucks. Mid -6 that offsets his limited cover. Impetuous and extra orders. He kind of has 3 orders on his own for 26 points.
Right. And that's the thing is like a late game once the smoke is cleared a little bit and most things have been murdered, he can just run around and do objectives really fast.
He can pick up supply boxes like a champion.
Right.
Well, actually, I think Kuroshi Rider is the hero of classifieds.
Yeah.
Because you can forward observe, you can decharge, you're a character.
Yep.
The only thing, you can even break boxes.
You break boxes in the AP.
You can stamp your feet. Like there's a million things that you can do. Like the only ones you can't do are like the visors and the healing.
Yep. But you have long service. You can do all the ones where you have to have the name.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like that's my one thought for him is like it's a wild choice, but thinking about it, if you're purely taking him to do classifieds and objectives,
he's a support piece in every way, shape, and form as a lieutenant.
You're just not using him to fight just to get around. Yeah.
And then he's doing objectives.
No, I'm here for it. I agree.
Yeah. Then I brought a couple Ryukins spread throughout, one in each group. No, 2 in the second group and 1 in this group. Because who doesn't want a Mim 6 mine layer with a heavy rocket launcher?
To be fair, he is hilariously good.
And a decoy.
Yeah.
And he has a one-use camouflage.
It's 6 Mim -6 markers, which is terrifying.
Right. And then you're like, well, what's going to happen?
And so then also, and then 3 -3 mine layers.
Right.
It's 9 tokens for these 3 guys.
Yeah. That seems fun.
Man, giving them camo was such a big update.
I know. Huge upgrade. And the 23 points are so cheap.
Yeah. Then I got a Tenko because, I don't know.
Disco Ball. Yep.
Easy. Does he
saw Disco Baller? I mean, he's also weirdly like dangerous because of his monophyleticals combo weapon.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't
Blitzen.
But hey, whatever. I can kill your tag if he gets too close. Right.
He actually can link with Miyamoto if you want.
He can. Yeah, you put him with Musashi. And Musashi can get him.
I think that's what it originally was. I moved around.
Buddies. Yeah.
So it's like they can't kind of move up together, or the disco baller can like walk up, throw stuff, and
the Tango can also like deactivate shit that's in Musashi's way, which is really funny because he's a heavy. He's not scared of it like some engineers are, right? Because he's got 2 wounds and arm 3. He'll like walk out in front of a turret and just be like, "Did I turn you off?"
Yeah, but don't you get? Is it face to face if you do that?
Yeah, but you don't die. I guess
You probably don't die.
And the deactivator's good. Isn't the deactivator good range? I can't remember.
No,
Yeah,
Dexter's
it's at 8.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But you can use it on line of sight, can't you?
It's
Yes.
more. They
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
him
That's the okay. There you
go.
go. That's why you sneak around and turn stuff off. You turn off like repeaters and stuff with them.
The Tenko was given that to reactivate his disco balls.
Yep.
So I got that. Then we got Shikami because Shikami seems really fun as well. Another super fast. Woo! And if Shikami's not running up first turn, then it's Miyamoto, one of them. And the next guy goes next turn. And then in the other group, we have motorized Yojimbo because also looks like a lot of fun, but also can be defensive. As you said it in your list, it made a lot of sense to me. Crazy koalas, woohoo! We got those 2 Ryukins I talked about. Another Tanko with a deactivator because who doesn't want more disco balls to get you out of trouble when you deploy horribly because you're stupid? Then we put in the total reaction Thunderbolt bot because for some reason in this list they get smoke grenade launchers.
Yep, we both noticed that too. It was very funny. It's not like you would super use it. Owen pointed out, like it's only BS11, but it's just cool that you have it.
It's kind of one of those late game. It's kind of just around.
Yeah,
I mean he's probably gonna die if he's like, but it doesn't cost any extra than the other.
Yeah, there's the same 16 points as the other ones. Yeah.
So you got a cool little TR bot, and if you put them in a weird spot and they kind of avoid them, then it's just that tool that you could use when you get desperate, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? We got a little Pangalang with 8 points to reload the crazy koalas, and then we have a Kisetsu Thunderbolt with the BS Tech and a Kisetsu Hacker with the ECM Hacker -1 and -6 and the crazy koala. So just all around, I don't know. Seems solid. I don't know.
Seems decent.
I like the fact that I have 3 Ryukins.
Yes.
That's the funniest part.
I think Oban he's everything that US Ariadne wishes it was.
Agreed. Yeah, it somehow survived the edition changes better than everybody else.
Like if you look through it, it's so close. Like they have so many guys who are doing similar roles,
the
like
bike guys, warbands,
the bikes, the powerful infantry with like the thunderbolts and multiple different types of weapons, to the grunts.
Yeah.
You've got infiltrator guys, you've got super heavy infantry with the Daiokai compared to the Blackjack.
Blackjack, yeah.
But everything in JSA is just better. Like everyone across the board, they're either cheaper and do more damage, or they're more expensive but have more to go for them. Like the Daiokai is as tough as the Blackjack with none of its downsides. Oh, he's more expensive. Yeah, and all it cost him was no wounding cap, 2 wounds, martial arts, NCO, a better gun. Like he's just like hilariously better. And like I only bring it up because I was talking to someone the other night about how I wish US Ariadne would get a glow up to be more in line with JSA in an American style, like double the cost of everyone and double the stats of everyone and make them cool, like
make them good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some units we didn't pick. Now, there's one unit here that we didn't pick, mostly because I just think none of us really apart from me, none of us really favor healing. I'm the only one that tends to favor healing.
I sometimes do.
You sometimes do. The lives of Owen's troops are expendable. We all know this. Brannigan's Law. So Kaizoku Yuriko Oda, who's the original Dire Foes for this faction, none of us included. She's got a big FTO option in the primary fire team, right? She'd be taken as a I believe a wild card and pretty much everything. Yeah, and she counts as a Keisatsu, as does the Kempe. And she's an engineer, right? -3 engineer with mine layer. She has shock mines. And then she got Panzerfaust or emitter across a couple of her profiles, and one of her guys has deployment +8 inches. So she's neat, but she's like 25 to 28 points. And if you want an engineer, the Taketsu's Butte is like, the Kohei, sorry, is like 14. So you're looking at double the point value to get a whipped 14 engineer check instead of a 13. She just doesn't offer anything really, I think, super.
I think her offer is the emitter in and of itself.
Yeah.
Because you basically don't have EM guns
Yep.
which is a weird thing for your faction compared to many.
And
of
she's
the other
linkable,
ones
so
now.
she gets all the bonuses. So she does get like an emitter with like.
And
plus dice.
you're gonna bring Keisetsu if only for that BS attack -3 guy. So if you're gonna do it anyway, bring her and round out your core of Keisetsus, because you're gonna bring a Kempe because he's a cheap chain of command.
Yep.
And then if you have the points, you can bring her as that 25-point emitter. And now all those Keisetsus that would otherwise just be idling in the back, like it's 78 points for that 5-man team.
Yeah.
She goes up to BS 13. She gets 6 cents. She gets the extra dice, and all of a sudden, hey, that's and she has mimetism. So you're like, that's a for realsies character.
Yeah. Nobody took Samsa, and I'll tell you right now why none of us took him, because he's an extra.
I almost did. I had him originally, and I was just like, he's not doing enough for 26 points. Like he's not.
He's a plasma rifle for 26 points, but he just dies if he gets hit. And that's it.
I mean, I'm glad he went down in points and got decoy. That's cool.
Yeah. But he doesn't offer anything unique here, I think, for us to take him. He's also
a plasma rifle's a plasma rifle.
It is. Plasma rifle. Infiltration. He can suppress.
Mimetism, cover, good range right off the get-go.
Yeah.
Specialist.
He
And
almost
decoy.
like if you'll remember when I was playing those lists against you, Ash, a while back, I had that Locust who I brought all the time.
I do remember.
Who would forward deploy and then go on suppression with my command token.
Oh yeah.
And just be annoying. I think you could do that.
You could do that with Samson for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's not nothing,
And
just none of us took him.
He costs the same.
I think he's pretty good, but he's just a risk. He's risky.
My problem is like in this faction, there's like 20 people who are like, oh, midline combo kind of fighty dude.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Yojimbo and Miyamoto, who are both cheaper and will also just murder you if given
and probably
their
not
chance.
die, right? Like that's the thing is like this guy's that you're throwing away 26 points because he's gonna die eventually, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to the stock stuff right now. None of us took ninjas. That's the last thing that's like the stock original stuff that none of us took. Mostly because none of us really built lists that I think are trying to do objectives here. And Shikami does so many of the things ninjas used to do. I'd rather just, instead of having 2 ninjas, have another Shikami, because the Shikami gets there every time and is faster and is a specialist to do all of the button pushing. So, yeah.
Depends on the mission.
It depends on the mission a little bit. Yeah. And
Like-
that Killer Hacker 25-point tack bow is still great, right? Like, that's the classic.
Unmasking. That is your guy.
Yeah.
Whatever the Shikami does, the ninja on unmasking is a machine made for I move forward out of cover, out of hidden deploy, and push the button with 2 dice.
That's it.
Got
I'm
it.
cheap enough that end of game, I can just go and flip a switch. So I got a second on whatever those missions are. Unparalleled at doing that for the point value.
Or blow up on one way.
That's it. Yep. Put that DA close count open because they all have DA. So then last but not least, there are 1, 2
There's only 2 here.
profiles in here that neither of us took. And they're for very much the same reasons that we didn't take Oda, except even worse. The Kyosho Sci-Fi Unito, which is their hacker, their like special hacker. I don't know why you would take this guy ever. He's got a Cybermind, Combi or multi-rifle, Killer Hacker, both 20 points. He's got upgrade, total control SR -2. He's just fine. There's
He's like
nothing
hilariously worse than the Keisetsu hacker.
But that's what I mean. But the Keisetsu hacker is 4 points cheaper, has hacking -6. It doesn't have a killer hacking device, to be fair, but it's so good compared to this guy.
The motorcycle is 1 point less for its killer hacker and is a motorcycle.
This guy doesn't, and he can't link.
Damage.
Yeah.
Sure, for when you're fighting a tag. Like
that sure is one of the abilities in the game.
It's just 2 corner case, right? If you know you're constantly playing against tags, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? If it's like a tag event where everyone's required to bring a tag, sure, he seems good.
And then we have the Genbute, who answers the question.
Sorry, if there's one thing that Oban can't do, it's deal with tags. With its Miyamoto Musashi, Saito Togen, Oniwaban, Ninja Hacker.
With its plethora of named
and the Shikami.
How about just a random ass Tanko just walks over and goes like, "Oh, I got the fucking sword for this.
Here's my 12 people who can kill a tag in one order." Like, no, I really want to control it.
I'd like to control it better. How about if we just cut it in half and we just did that instead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genbutai.
And then the Genbutai, who's just a souped up version of the same thing. Like they're weird specialists. There's an engineer specialist, paramedic, or an NCO, the Red Fury. They're armed 3 BTS 6, but medium infantry. So like they're like almost heavy infantry stats, but with 1 wound. They're shock immune, AP immune, and they have BS stack SR -1. Religious troops, war horses, but they're only AVA 1.
Did they just forget the no wounding cap that this guy clearly is supposed to have?
I guess, yeah. I mean, he's cheap, except for the NCO one.
Is he?
Who's the 18-point guy.
Only
Only
one
is cheap
wound?
as shit. The 1 wound, yeah.
Oh,
What
God.
do you mean? You get a boarding shotgun for 18 points.
Yeah.
And I'd never take him. I'm
Look
not
at
disagreeing with
these,
you.
Tankos over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to the guy in the same list, the Tanko, who just totally outclasses you.
And if you wanted the Domarus are cheaper than this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got good BTS. He's got weird, cool corner case stuff like immunity AP and immunity shock. This guy, he suffers from that same like word salad. He's got a pile of like, okay, on a different guy, you know what I mean? Like make him more expensive and give him 2 wounds, or make him more expensive and give him no wounding cap. And then these stats are really cool. But for the point cost he's at, he just has this like kind of fruit bowl of special rules that are cool, but until you're 1 wound. Like immunity AP, immunity shock on an armed 3 guy isn't great when you're 1 wound, right?
You know what that
like,
Kyosho guy needs? Now that I'm
that?
thinking about it, combat instinct.
Sure, yeah, give him combat instinct. Just let him
And
fucking
then-
link. Just give him a keyword and let him link, and he'd be fine. He can earn his way up to combat instinct with the cheerleader squad of cheap ass dudes.
But it'd just be like, he'd be like, oh, this is his gimmick that he
Yeah.
ignores stealth. Great.
Yeah, neither of these guys have a gimmick that's worth the value that they bring to the table. And I think actually, now that you said his name, I don't think any of us took Saito, but I love Saito. Type 2 boarding shotgun, explosive close combat in PS4, hidden deployment, infiltration, martial arts 4. He's got smoke grenades, min -6, courage camo, surprise stack -3, and a bang bomb +4. So he dodges against non-templates on a 17. He's a hero, but he suffers from the same problem as Kitsune, where like he's just 1 wound.
I think there's something to be said that you can almost do like 7 Samurai style of
You
like
definitely
Miyoto,
can.
Saito,
Yeah.
Shinobu, Yojimbo.
Yeah. I mean, we've all
like-
basically tried to make that list, right? Where it's like, and I would absolutely do that list. Actually, what does it look like? How many points is it? Musashi
And have a bunch of
is
chain rifles and you lose.
well, yeah.
Not to all of them. Saito will survive.
Someone's gonna get there.
Or sorry, Miyoto will survive.
Yeah.
Saito will probably dodge a lot of that.
I could take a Yama and be on the table so that there's at least
He's only
that
dodging
time.
on 13s. Bang bomb only
Don't
counts
yuck our yum. Can I get 7 guys? I got 5
No,
guys. So far.
Saito is not. I was wrong. I misspoke. I was talking about Miyamoto.
I'm just trying to get
Miyamoto will
a
be able
bunch
to
of
dodge
people
for you.
with names. So Saito, Jimbo, Miyamoto, Oyama, Shinobu, and Oda is 6 for 177 points. Can I do a 7th person? I could do Samsa. So our 7th samurai includes Samsa because that's all the named characters.
No Karakuri.
Oh, we didn't use Karakuri either, did we?
My Karakuri show up in a different faction.
I was gonna say, they
I
do show up
really
in a
like them
different
here
faction.
too. Yeah.
They are still immunity enhanced, and they're all FOs. They got a big glow up this edition because they're the only ones that are kind of immune to everything. And they got an emitter profile.
Karakuris are
That's what
monsters.
that
Yeah. that emitter, they've all got flash pulses, they've all got Panzerfausts, they've all got chain rifles, and then they have a swap weapon where one's a heavy shotgun, one's a multi-rifle, one's a Mark 12, one's an emitter.
I had a face
Fucking
against
great.
one at Colder than Carbonite, and he's just hanging around the corner looking with his emitter, and I'm like, God dang it. Because I had like my double heavy rocket launcher +1 burst AP weapons with tags and Torchlight, and I'm like, I can't fight this.
Not only the fact that they're heavy
wait.
infantry, but they're structure 3.
Yeah.
Which means they're what? Immune to viral? Not that they're not already from immunity enhanced, but like structure 3. They're size 2 tags, arm 3 BTS 6, BS 13.
They're immune to everything but plasma.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how it killed them.
The deployable cover combo with them
Oh,
is a legitimate problem. I'm not sure how you reliably take them down, and they will shoot you with emitters or Panzerfausts every time. Like you just bring that last profile, the chain rifle emitter Panzerfaust, as like a defensive piece, and then you throw down a piece of deployable cover and go, okay, kill them. They're armor 9, BTS 12.
Well, the other thing is, if you're bringing deployable cover, that means you have an engineer, and you can top them back up.
Yeah.
Sure do.
I mean, it means you basically have to bring that Tokusetsu, but you can bring 2 of them. And that's just great.
They're very annoying to kill. Very.
For 100 points or 90 points or whatever points they're going to be, they're 9 wounds of...
You only bring 2 now, because with the change to duo bonuses, they're worth it. Because before, you always needed the extra guy for the Harris.
Yeah, you can just take 2.
But you don't need that anymore. So for 62 points, you get the 2 of them, and they can fight anything in the game, and nothing works against them.
Yeah.
Really solid.
And they're specialists. So the only thing they don't have going for them is that they're slow. That is my only problem, is they're 4/4. They don't have anything to get you ahead.
And you link Oda with them, and Oda gets the bonus dice too, and she can fix them because she's an engineer. There's where you take Oda. There's where you
can do it.
Did you get that +1?
She also has an emitter.
Yeah. No, I think again, it's one of those. There's so many choices, and there's stuff in Oban, like that 7 samurai gang. You can't bring them elsewhere, whereas the Karakuri show up elsewhere.
Yeah,
and so
they're a different list.
If you wanted to bring them, I think they're 100% legitimate to bring, especially with how down-powered a lot of guns are, and that they're immune to the big emitter. Like, emitters are the scary thing right now because so many people are bringing more heavy infantry and tags, and they're immune. It doesn't work. You can't use that against them. You have to shoot them to death, and they are crazy durable, and then you can make them hilariously durable by just throwing down a piece of deployable cover.
And have 1 gajillion wounds.
Yeah. And so the 2 of them are armor 9, BTS 12, 6 wounds. Yeah, you're going to hit them a lot, but...
And they're remote presence, so you can use command tokens to reroll fixing them too.
The one weakness they have is if you hit them with para ammo.
Yeah, sure.
Because they got to dodge on 4s to get out of it.
If only you had an engineer that was part of their link. Who gave them or you could have 3 of them and have you could just have 3 of them and get +1 to dodge.
I'm just saying, para is decent against them. Everything else.
Yeah, they have one. They have one kind of works against the ammo type, and that's para,
which is not exactly.
It just delays.
No, it's not so and Dan thinks it's common because he plays all the O12s. That's the only reason.
Well, and now he plays ISS, who got it in a bunch of places.
Yeah, it's just every faction Dan plays is sticky. It's time to get sticky. All right, well, we did it. We did our first JSA with the classic, the Oban, and we'll be back next week with Shinden Butai, which is the new section.
Are you ready for the balance curve? Because we're going off the rails.
Going off the rails. I don't know.
To summarize.
Yes.
We went over the crappy profiles that none of us brought. I think we can all agree those are the worst. What's our favorite profiles? I think Ash's is Shikami.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Shikami, hands down. Does everything.
Go ahead, Dan. What's your favorite guy?
I think I like Miyamoto.
Musashi? He's great. I love him too.
Miyamoto Musashi.
I mean, it's clearly Kosetsu BS attack -3.
For 12 points?
That little hero.
He is the machine that makes up your whole faction. All these fancy samurai motherfuckers are going to just die to chain rifles, and he's going to be back there killing orcs.
What's your favorite profile?
That's always
the AVA total.
It's always whatever the skew is. You're fucking hero. All right.
I am a big fan of Karakuris. That would if you wanted a more accurate one, I think you should include a Karakuri in basically if you're going to do the heavy armor list, like if you like Domaru's, Shikami's, and that kind of stuff, bring one Karakuri just to hang out with them.
Sure.
It can't quite keep pace, but it'll do your objectives with Whip 13, and everything that you would have to watch out for, it just walks into.
Yeah.
There's an EM mine around that corner. Stand aside, citizen.
Make way for robot sex doll with a machine gun and a giant taser.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we did it. Like I said, we're back with Shinden. That's going to be, as Owen said, where this all starts to go off the rails because they are the JSA version of Kestrel. And that'll be next week. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you for one of these next week. Zeros to Heroes. Till then, I'm Ash. This is Owen and Dan. Have a good one.